Last Thursday, my daughter was picked up from school by someone pretending to be me, and I didn't find out until 2 hours later. We live just outside Columbus, Ohio, in a quiet neighborhood with good schools. Nothing unusual. My daughter Lily is 7, and I pick her up every day at 3:10 p.m. Sharp, same routine, same parking spot. That day I was late because a meeting ran over and I didn't get there until 3:25, already feeling guilty and thinking about how I'd apologize to her. When I pulled into the pickup line, her teacher was already walking back inside without Lily. I rolled down the window and called her name, and she told me Lily had already left, that I had picked her up about 15 minutes earlier. I said I had just arrived, and her expression changed immediately. Something dropped in my chest, and I parked without thinking, got out with my hands shaking, and asked who picked her up. She hesitated and said she assumed it was me. Same car, same color. And that Lily seemed comfortable. That didn't make sense because our car isn't common. It's an older blue SUV with a dent on the back door, not something you confuse easily. I asked what the man looked like, and she said mid-30s, and that he told her he was Lily's father. I don't have a husband. I called the police right there in the parking lot, and they arrived within minutes and pulled the security footage. We watched it together. At 3:12 p.m., Lily walks out, looks around like she always does, then sees someone, smiles, and runs toward a blue SUV. Same color as mine, but cleaner, no dent. The man opens the passenger door and she gets in without hesitation. We couldn't see his face clearly, just a calm profile, like he had done this before. That's when it got worse. Lily didn't hesitate, she didn't pause. She wasn't scared, she trusted him. The officer asked if she knew anyone who might pick her up, and I said no. But even as I said it, I remembered something she said 2 nights earlier about the man who waits, and I ignored it. The search started immediately with patrol cars and alerts, while I stayed, answering questions over and over. Then around 6:40 p.m., my phone rang from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but I did. A man's voice told me she was okay, and my knees almost gave out. I asked where she was, but he didn't answer. Instead, he said something else. "You're late a lot." I couldn't speak. He said she waits every day, longer than the other kids, that I don't see it, but he does. Then he told me not to call anyone else, that he just wanted me to understand, and the line went dead. They traced the call, but it was a disposable phone, used once and gone. They found the car 2 days later, abandoned in a shopping center parking lot about 40 miles away. No fingerprints, no DNA, no sign of Lily. The case is still open. They tell me not to blame myself, but I remember exactly what he said. "You're late a lot." And the worst part is he wasn't wrong. I found out my son had been talking to a stranger for weeks, and the police told me I should have noticed sooner. This happened in Plano, Texas late last fall. We moved there about a year ago. Quiet suburb, good schools, the kind of place where nothing serious ever seems to happen. My son Caleb is 8. He's shy, keeps to himself, not the kind of kid who talks to strangers. That's why I didn't question it when he started asking to stay outside a little longer after school. It seemed normal. Kids making friends, wanting more time to play. He said there was a boy who lived 2 houses down who had a basketball hoop. We don't have a house like that on our street, but neighborhoods blur together, and I didn't think much of it. The first real sign came from his teacher. She emailed me asking if everything was okay at home because Caleb had started falling asleep in class. That wasn't like him. He's usually alert, even a little anxious about staying on task. I asked him about it that night, and he said he just wasn't sleeping well. I accepted that answer. Looking back, that was my first mistake. A few days later, I noticed dirt on his shoes when he came home. Not unusual, except it was the kind of red clay you don't really find in our neighborhood. Our yards are mostly dry, light soil. This was darker, heavier. I asked where he'd been. Just outside, he said. I let it go. That was a second mistake. The call from the police came on a Tuesday afternoon while I was at work. They asked if I knew where my son was. I told them he was at school. They told me he wasn't. According to the attendance office, he had been picked up early by a parent. That parent wasn't me. I drove there faster than I ever have in my life. They showed me the sign-out sheet. My name was written clearly, correct signature or close enough that no one questioned it. The time was 1:18 p.m. There was also camera footage, and we watched it together. Caleb walked out of the front office, calmly holding a piece of paper. He didn't look confused. He didn't hesitate. He walked straight toward the parking lot, and then he waved, not to a teacher, to someone off camera. He smiled. That's the part that still keeps me up at night. He smiled like he knew exactly who he was going to. The officer paused the video and asked if he knew anyone who could have picked him up. I said no. No one. But as soon as I said it, I remembered something. The boy. He said he was playing with a boy nearby. They checked the surrounding houses. No kids matching that description. No basketball hoop. Nothing. Then they pulled phone records from Caleb's tablet. I didn't even know he had been using messaging apps on it. There were dozens of messages, all from one account. No name, no profile picture, just short, direct texts. You can come today. Your mom won't notice. Use the office. Tell them it's an appointment. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the printout. There were also photos, not of Caleb, of our house, taken from across the street at different times of day. Someone had been watching us for weeks. They traced the account to a prepaid device with no registration, no identity. But they did find something else, a location ping from one of the earlier messages, an address about 3 miles away, an abandoned rental property. That's where they found him. Caleb was sitting inside, unharmed, watching TV like he'd been there before, like it wasn't new. The man wasn't there. They searched the entire place. Nothing. No clothes, no documents, nothing that could identify him. Just a folding chair, a small TV, and a cooler with drinks and snacks set up like someone expected to stay or to bring someone. Caleb told them the man was nice. Said he helped him when he felt lonely. Said he told him things about our family, things no stranger should know. When I asked what the man looked like, he said something that made my stomach drop. He looks like people you wouldn't notice. That was the last clear description anyone ever got. The case is still open. They increased patrols, checked nearby cameras, questioned neighbors. Nothing. No one saw him. No one remembered him. But sometimes when I leave for work in the morning, I still get this feeling like someone is watching the house. Not from far away. From somewhere close enough to know exactly when I'm not there.